Hey guys, welcome back to The Spicy Scoop. I'm your host, Gabby.
And I'm your eldest brother, Nathaniel.
Yeah, so today I'm here with my brother, Nathaniel, and then I also have all my other siblings in the background. They're just hiding. Yeah, there's slight voices right there right now. And we're actually going to be reading some spookier stories this week. They're called Let's Not Meet stories from Reddit. So, and all of these stories are actually verified by the Reddit forum. So all of these are actually true stories. So that's what we got for us today. So let's dig in. So, again, a lot of this is about punctuation. If I'm not very good at reading, people's punctuation is not always good. Okay, so this first story is called Followed. And that's all I have. Okay. Okay, so this first story is it's called Followed, and this person does not wish to be shared, so they want to be remained anonymous.
How much wine have you had there?
I know, I have wine.
I'm ominous today.
Okay, so they wish to remain anonymous. Anonymous. Okay? Oh my gosh, this is supposed to be scary. We have to be scary. Okay. All right. I worked at a law firm in a fairly large U.S. city. I lived 1 block from work and therefore walked every day. About a half a mile in the other direction was a restaurant I loved. One evening, after a crappy day, I decided to go get dinner before going home. I went to the restaurant, had dinner, and started walking home. It was dusk at this point, but there was still plenty of light. The street was deserted except for a single car traveling in the opposite direction. The car suddenly slammed on its brakes, and I was so surprised I stopped walking. I expected it to be someone asking for directions or something, but instead it was 2 guys staring at me. The driver was literally hanging out the window and licking his lips. I very desperately rolled my eyes and kept walking. I had walked most of the way back to my office when I got a weird feeling, like someone was watching me. I looked over my shoulder and the same car was there, a few feet behind me. They had flipped a U-turn, cut their engine, and coasted down the street behind me. The passenger was closer to me now, and he was leaning out the window, making gross faces at me. I didn't think I just started to run. I heard the car start up and follow me. I was close to home, but I didn't want to lead these guys to where I live. I ran down the rest of the street and through an intersection. I made it to the parking structure of my office building, which has an entrance into the building itself, with security in the lobby. I hung out in the lobby with the security guard and checked outside again and again until I was sure the car wasn't hanging around. Then I ran 1 block home. I think about those guys every time I walk home now. Let's not meet again. So, that was my first story. The top comment was, I'm glad you're safe, OP. They not only put you in fear for your life in the short term, but they had left a lasting impression on you that terrorizes you every day. And OP said, what a kind comment. Thank you. Okay, so honestly, if I was in that situation, like walking home from work. Okay, well, first of all, walking home from work, like, and not feeling safe in itself, that, like, ruins the rest of, like, work for you now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, well, a lot of people walk, especially, I don't know, it said big city in the U.S., which is most likely, I don't know, New York, Chicago, something. But.
Well, it's the big city aspect, but the fact that it was like an empty street as described, that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily state what day of the week it was.
Yep.
It was after work, so, I mean, it was getting dark. And then you just don't know, I mean, what kind of part of the city it was.
Yeah.
Whether it could have been just someone mentally ill, someone possibly on drugs, or just someone just super weird. But no, that's quite discerning when you're, walking alone, so.
It's not very fun either, yeah. Maybe she'll be biking or riding a car. to
find a coworker to
Yeah.
walk with them.
Yeah, that would be probably more comfortable, honestly.
Have someone to check in on. Be
Yeah.
like, hey, I got home.
Yeah, that would help a lot. Okay, so we started off pretty easy. We're getting more into some deeper stuff here. So, hey guys, I just wanted to come in here and give a little disclaimer. All 5 of us siblings are here, and everyone wants to put a little bit of feedback in on the information, but I only have 2 microphones at the moment, so please bear with me as I'm trying my best to get everyone on. But thank you for the feedback and for everyone to involve themselves in this. I really appreciate it, and this is just for fun. So, yeah, thank you for listening / watching, and I hope you enjoy. So this one is called "You Look Good." So this will be interesting. I've been running in these woods for as long as I can remember, but this might make me change my mind. The story began at around 6:30 p.m. I had finished eating and decided to go on a run as usual. I always use the same path, cross the street, run for about a kilometer, and pass the gate that goes into the woods. Something important to note is that the trail I use in the forest is separated about halfway through. One path is paved and the other isn't. I usually go into the unpaved path first and then turn into the paved one at about 3 kilometers. Nothing ever really goes wrong. I meet some rare people walking their dogs, but other than that, I'm pretty alone. At least I thought I was. I've been running for a while now when I heard a notification coming from my phone. An airdrop notification. Since I didn't want to make it looked like I was worried, I kept running for a couple minutes and then stopped to change the music. I clicked the airdrop dreadfully. Who the hell was sending me stuff? I was pretty sure I was alone. I clicked on the drop and my heart sunk. It was a Snapchat picture of me running with the caption, "You look good." I didn't turn around. Instead, I kept running like nothing happened until I reached a certain point. You see, the forest is surrounded by a fence to stop children from coming in unsupervised, and I didn't like that rule when I was little, so my friends and I cut a hole in it. When I was aligned with that hole, I quickly turned and buried myself in the forest, aiming for my escape. I could hear ruffling behind me, and I still didn't turn back. When I finally reached the hole, I jumped through it and absolutely booked it to the fire station. That was a couple streets down. The last things I could hear when leaving the forest was an angry huff and metal meeting metal. I still don't know who it was or what they wanted from me, but I never ran in that forest again. So creepy stalker guy or whatever you are, I truly hope we never meet again. Holy cow. First of all, if somebody ever sent me a picture of me, like in a daily activity or something, I couldn't.
Well, a little side topic to this, but right before I came down here, my roommate Casey was talking about how they had to stop the plane from going because some people airdropped a bunch of like crashing planes.
I saw that. I saw that.
So that's just a note of like the whole creepiness of like airdropping to people.
I mean, like, yeah, what could have happened if that guy got her? Because he was chasing after her. Yeah, well, if you want to add something. Oh, okay, here. She has a story to tell you, my sister.
It's just about an airdrop. Okay. Actually, I don't know what to say.
Just do it. Go.
I'm too nervous.
My gosh. No, you can't. You can't say it right now. Okay, so, yeah, honestly, I think the scariest part is of what could have happened. Her intuition really was, like, good for her. And, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, if I never look, I wouldn't know. And she just kept going and used that to her advantage and just went. You know what I mean?
Well, so the unpaved path, she had to crawl through a hole to get through it, or was it an actual path?
So basically, her normal path she runs on, she has one that's just a dirt path and one that's that is paved. So she runs all the way down and then turns around and comes up. So kind of like a right and left lane. Mm. But she just knew of this fence that she created a hole when she was little, and it was in the middle of a forest brush. Yeah. So she just booked it through. But yeah, this guy even followed her. When she ran into the forest, the guy followed her. And that's interesting that it even says metal meeting metal is one of the sounds she heard.
Well, it's just weird because she meets people infrequently, mainly dogs. Mm-hmm. Dog owners walking their dogs. But Someone obviously like knew her agenda probably and was like creeping on her, I would assume.
Yeah, and the fact that he used airdrop too, or
well,
whatever it was.
I say her, we assume.
I know, I assume it's a her and assume it's a dude, but
we don't know.
Yeah. So there's a comment. Top comment is, "This is really scary. I wonder if this was someone who had been watching, like seen you out there several times and finally gotten ballsy, and if some sort of crime opportunity or whatever they could have been done. Either way, I'd probably stick to mixing up any regular exercise patterns for a long time to come. Never do the same thing 2 days in a row. Stay alert. And maybe if you don't already carry some pepper spray or something, or a loud alarm to keep you safe." OP replied, "Pepper spray is illegal here, and I'm going to start carrying a travel size Axe body spray with me. It's terrifying. I've been running there for years, and I live in a very peaceful town. I started running in the busier streets during daytime instead of after dinner, but even then, I'm always super careful." So that is really weird. Well, it's her normal running thing. She just said she lives in a small town and things don't happen. So
that kind of circles back to what I said before.
Yeah.
Have someone that you check in with that you actually know, or like our family, we share our location, so that's another good thing to have as an option. You just never know.
Yeah, OP replies a few more times saying, apparently people are fighting her on pepper spray. In Canada, pepper spray is considered a weapon. Somebody else says something about weapons in Canada, and she says that she can't carry it. Like, geez. I didn't know that about Canada, honestly.
I didn't know either.
I feel like pepper spray is like safe though. Like it's a safety thing, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's like it's weird. I don't know, but yeah, so there's that story. And honestly, if, I don't know, I can't get over the fact of somebody airdropping something. Cuz okay, one time when I went back to North Dakota, I was at the airport and I was with my friend, or I was going to go see my friends, but then a mutual friend sent me a picture of someone at the airport that took a picture of me and said, "Look who it is, it's Gabby." But I had no idea who took a picture of me. Do you remember this? No, somebody took a picture of me, sent it to some other friends, and then a mutual friend sent it to me and said, "Somebody took a picture of you at the airport." I just thought like, wow, I must be like famous or something, because like coming back to North Dakota, like apparently I'm, big stuff for there, but honestly, it's a little creepy that somebody takes a picture of you like that.
Yeah. No, especially if they share with someone else.
Yeah.
Not you, I guess.
Yeah. Weird. Okay. They only get worse. Okay, Izzy's going to tell her story because she finally feels brave enough. So you'll just be hearing it. Go ahead. Go. Okay, so basically she got an airdrop in a class.
So we were all in my coach's class, and then we were all getting airdrops. And we're all, like, declining it because it was just, like, from the N-word. And we're like, okay, weird. And then one of the girls decides to accept it. And it was a dead body. And we're all like, what the heck? And we can't do anything on our phone because, like, it just kept getting, like, popping up,
Mm-hmm.
And so I walked around the whole classroom. And finally I saw this dude who was on, like, airdrop. And you could see, like, everyone's thing. And I looked at him, and I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, he was shaking. He was like...
Like he got caught?
Yeah, no, I looked at him and I was like, can you not? And then he just turned his phone off and like turned away. And then my coach was just like, I can't do anything about it. And I was like, okay, whatever.
Oh, yeah, that is weird.
But the picture was graphic.
Yeah, so the fact that somebody in class is sending something, like airdropping pictures in a creepy way is creepy. Let's keep a distance there on that stuff. It's creepy. It truly, truly is, Okay, so let's read the next story. Okay, so this next one is a bit longer, but it's like, and she has like updates on it too. So this was posted 2 months ago. Okay. So it's titled, "This literally just happened. I'm dead scared and nobody is answering the phone." Okay. Okay, so this story just happened to me. Female, 28. And I'm sure I will not be able to sleep until my boyfriend is answering the phone. I need to get this out. My company organized an event for the clients and staff of a luxury hotel. Everyone partied, and I got into my room an hour ago. which is 3:27 in the morning. I don't know. 15 minutes ago, a guy entered my room with a bottle of water. It woke me up. I was super scared. He says someone called from my room to order a bottle of sparkling water. Weird explanation. There's a mini bar, and there is a corridor in the room before entering where I am in the bed. So basically, I'm half naked in my bed. He comes closer to me at the level of the table, apologizing for the inconvenience, and he is still here. I kid you not, he starts talking to me, saying how he is going to be in trouble, etc., and how someone called and he is so sorry that others got in the hotel super drunk and it must have been a mistake. I swear he had been standing super close to my bed for 5 minutes. And I was so shocked, I just kept saying, no, it's okay. I got really scared. No problem. Just go. Well, he says he doesn't see me well. Asks my name twice. He says, well, so I guess I will wish you a good night then. He kisses me on the cheek like French people do, but I'm still half naked in my bed, dead scared, and he is in a suit all dressed up. He left after the longest minutes, saying how he was sorry and how he would appreciate that I don't tell anyone. And now the phone in the room just rang. I don't know if I still should be scared. Was he just confused by the mistake? I'm super scared though. I cannot think right and my heart is racing. I just need to have some rational feedback here.
Wow.
So she's literally in her hotel room. A guy comes in the room saying that somebody ordered water and she said no. And he literally even gave her like a kiss by, like a French kiss. Like she's in her bed. Like he walked into the room with a suit on, walked into her room, came up to her and was like, you ordered a water. No, okay, I'm sorry for the inconvenience. I'm so sorry. She's like, okay, leave.
Well, the question is, how did he get in?
Yeah. How'd he get in? Why was he actually there once he saw that the mistake was there?
She didn't describe if he was drunk either or not, though.
Yeah, so she said that there was drunk people.
There was, but him himself, I don't know.
Yeah. It's actually really weird. The top comment says, it doesn't sound like it was a mistake. Like if it was, the normal thing for an employee to do would be just immediately apologize and leave.
Yep.
And do not disturb, who's clearly trying to sleep. I definitely let management know about this in the morning before leaving. Oh yeah, because that's like, somebody said first go look at every single lock and put the chair against it.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. That is crazy.
I don't know. I know at the moment it was probably super nerve-wracking and scary, but like maybe even pulling your phone out, because I assume it's right next to you in bed, and like just videotaping what's going on. I mean, it's your own private room that you rented or, for the night.
Yeah.
With the party.
That's messed up.
Because you don't know security cameras if you even work there.
Yeah.
If you showed the hotel the next morning, they could maybe figure out, yeah, they know who that is and they can take action. But at this point, you can't tell. You don't know.
Okay, so her first update is really long. Update 34 hours later. First of all, I'm fine. As I wrote the post to check if I misunderstood the situation, I didn't go into much detail. I was just scared and had no support system at the moment, so I was hoping to find a reality check here on Reddit. Little did I know that the post needed to be checked before being published. So all in all, I went back to blowing my friends' phones. Information was missing when I was posted. 1, I was really half naked in my bed, hidden in my blankets. So this all happened while I was laying in bed, hiding my body in with a blanket, including the kisses on the cheeks and the conversation. I do boxing, lifting weights, and I am in enough shape to feel that I can defend myself usually. But here, I didn't want that dude to see me naked and was obviously vulnerable and just woke up and he was well awake. 2, the guy told me he said he was the night manager of the hotel, in charge of reception and security during the night. Spoiler, he was. So I didn't call the reception or anything because I didn't want him to answer.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So she knew who he was
He,
when he walked in.
he said that he was the night manager, but apparently he actually was. That's even worse. Okay, so she said, back to what happened afterwards. My sister finally answered the phone. I was still in my bed because I was still processing what happened and still felt like that if I got up, someone would see me naked. I started explaining the situation and started realizing what actually happened. I had a panic attack and started crying, and she told me to call the police ASAP. But I was still in shock, still confused about the situation. Maybe he was confused, and it was a mistake. After all, I didn't want him to get in trouble if it was I had no bad intentions. She told me that there was no way she would hang up before I am safe and with someone. After a few minutes, I felt safe enough to get up and put some clothes on. The light of the main room was not working, so I was in the dark mostly. I said to my sister I wanted to leave the place ASAP and that I would see later for the rest, but right now I wanted to go home. I don't drive. Home is a 4-hour public transportation away, but luckily we were in the mountains, so buses started circulating early. I could pack my things, still on the phone, still crying, still super scared, and wait in the front door for 2 hours for the bus, blocking it with my bags and now dressed in my clothes. I then got out of the hotel using the door that was not linked to the front desk and literally ran to the bus. I considered myself safe after I took the train at 6:30 in the morning and hung up with my sister. I fell asleep in the train. 30 minutes later, a friend calls back. I started explaining to him and had a massive realization. What the F? Seriously, this perv is effing threat to society and is going down. I started recalling all my memories, was practically sure that I remembered his first name, wrote what happened to my boss, telling her that I am not going to stay for the second part of the event as I had an emergency. I'm going to the police as soon as the train arrives. My boss has handled the hotel part, and the guy has been easily tracked, as he was indeed the night manager of the hotel. He confesses to everything to the hotel management and got suspended. This never happened, and he was highly recommended by his previous employees, says the manager. But I'm sure this was not the first time he did it, and I'm sure he is dangerous. I feel stupid. I didn't collect the bottle of water as I am now certain. I feel stupid. I didn't collect the bottle of water as I am now certain it contained GHB or another drug. Actually, I had never seen the guy before. He only works the nighttime and specified the room that called, so he knew that I was going to be alone in this room. He must have tracked me on the security cameras when I got back to the hotel, waiting for me to go to sleep. He waited half an hour or so and expected me to be drunk and be drunk off of his water. On my side, I went to the police and they couldn't find a proper qualification for the crime. They would have if I had proof that there was a drug in the bottle, for example. So I first made a declaration, and I'm going back to the police later at 7:30 for a proper disposition. I stalked the guy on the net, and he had been a night manager in previous hotels for years. So I now hope I will find some other victims to push the further investigation, because I'm afraid that if it's only me, nothing will happen to him, as he didn't actually harm me, and he will just get away with it. That was a lot, and her punctuation was a lot, but kind of makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. The way she kind of came to realization of everything. But
Yeah, that she was like thinking about like, okay, that actually really was messed up. She even has more updates. I spent 3 hours with the police yesterday night to report the incident. I asked to be a part of the instruction, which means I will be able to ask the prosecutor to demand more information. Like, for example, the list of times he used his badge to enter a room at night and the names of the persons who were in it, just to check how many times he did it. I really hope it will work, but any minute I spend talking to it, reporting it, investigating it, is a very well spent minute. couldn't have been used for a better Saturday night. And then she has another update 5 days later. Surprise, it was not the first time he did it. And she goes on about how they figured it out and stuff like that. So essentially, this is a pretty creepy story. It's not the first time he snuck into people's rooms and tried to possibly drug these people. And it could have happened to her. And the fact that he, like, lingered around.
Like 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're drunk, like, some random person enters your room that only you have a key for or should have a key for. Which brings my next question. Like, I know their management, but, like, to what point do people have access to your rented out hotel room, you know?
Agreed.
So
there should be, like, I don't know, one or two extra, like, one other person that can actually get it. Otherwise, the main office should be able to compute you another key.
Well, something easy, like out in the open where someone has to grab it from, like, the front desk and then, like, a checkout system or something. Or, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Some kind of authorization formed. I mean, I know there's emergencies where they would probably need to get in to save someone or something's going on, but, like...
But they could easily, like, compute a new key. Just like they could be like, okay, it's for that room. But that's in front of everyone at the main lobby.
Yep. With the timestamp.
Yeah. So that's like... And he actually, like, was the actual worker there. And it's not the first time he's done it either. So he probably did a lot worse. Abusing his power. If she didn't stop him, it could have gone worse, too, for her. Okay, so we just got back from a bathroom break and refilled our wine. And we're ready.
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad. We already have some memes going on from this trip. So, actually, he flew in from North Dakota to come see us for Izzy's high school graduation. And, he's here to hang with the Sibs.
Hanging out in AZ.
Yep, hanging out in AZ. And then there's Kale over there. He can't do it. All right. This story here we got is called Someone Tried to Abduct Me. North Texas, 1980.
Specific.
Really specific. And, yeah. Okay. I practiced this story earlier, because it seemed long. But hopefully I don't mess up here. Okay. Someone tried to abduct me. I've never shared this story except, strangely enough, with my teacher at the time. I was in the first grade at Northside Elementary in DeSoto, Texas. We lived about 3 long blocks down, as my mother liked to call it. I personally feel it was a lot more. My sister and I were brought to school on a regular basis and walked home. My parents decided to divorce at this time. My dad moved out and we started seeing him every other weekend. My mom began dating someone else and I remembered she no longer became interested in taking us to school as much. She became very preoccupied with her new relationship, and I remember that she often had us walking to school and from. Thinking back now, I am not sure why I was late. There might have been a doctor's appointment or something. I remember it wasn't very late at all, maybe just an hour or so after school started. My mom pulled up in the car and I got out. I remember hoping she would wait there to watch me go up the flight of stairs and go inside, but she drove off right away to my dismay. And this is when I saw him. A man, pretty normal looking, stepped out of a car looking directly at me. My mom had pulled off, and this man was the only person around. He crossed the street quickly, at an angle, coming directly towards me. I remember turning and running up the stairs. There were 3 flights of stairs with landings in between. When you're a little girl, these stairs seem much bigger. I remember looking over my shoulder, and he was literally running up the stairs after me. I had the horrible gut-wrenching reaction and ran as fast as I could. I remember the double doors in front of me as I was panicking, thinking I would not make it. At that young age, I felt the energy coming from this otherwise normal-looking person who looked like a dad. I remember the huge intrinsic feeling of doom and urgency to get through these doors. And I did. And I immediately turned around and saw him standing at the second set of stairs. And he just stood there looking at me as I looked at him from inside the building. And then he looked very frustrated and turned, walking back to his car. I remember telling my teacher about it. Maybe a week later, a police detective showed up to interview me about what happened. This makes me think it may have been connected to something that happened in that area at the time. I don't think I have ever been that afraid in my life, and it was a powerful internal fear. It was like my body told me to immediately run. Yeah.
So this was all still when she was a first grader, I assume?
Yep. She was in first grade, and this happened.
Something's up with the mom.
Yeah, the mom should have been more responsible there at that point. But the fact that even this little kid's like intuition is sitting here being like, run, run.
Yeah.
And he was like chasing out. And this is in 1980. So like, I don't even know. Like so many things about it. I don't even know.
It's like 40 years ago now.
Yeah.
Just crazy to think about. But
and it's sad.
at least she got into the building safe.
Yeah.
Obviously, the person who was coming at her knew it was probably tough if he got any closer or inside the building at all. The only other thing I would have said is, and she's a first grader, so who knows. But if it got any worse, I would have screamed if I was her. Someone probably would have heard her from somewhere.
Yeah.
But again, you don't know. And
Yeah.
this is the 80s, so.
Yeah. And OP said, the scary thing is, if he had said something or called out something or said something, I feel pretty confident that I would have been disarmed and responded. It was the silence combined with the intense look on his face and the way of walking directly towards me that caused those gut feelings of dread. He looked so desperate, then confident, which would alarm most people. So I'm very grateful, which is true. If he would have said something, she's a first grader. Like, you know, respect your elders type thing, especially in the 80s.
I think she just has issues with a male figure already because of the divorce.
Yeah.
And her mom was someone new. So I think that was actually, in a weird way, helpful.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, that's actually a really good perspective to add to that. That's... And people are commenting on here being like, you're letting a 6-7-year-old like walk, you know, to school and stuff. But we've got to remember it's the 80s. So like
It was very
people,
relaxed.
yeah. It wasn't. And like most serial killers at the time was 70s, 80s, 90s even. That was like the peak of a lot of serial killers even. So like the awareness wasn't there if you didn't have one in your town, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because there also wasn't like technology to be like keep aware. All this. I mean, I think there was radios.
She said she was late that day too.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah. And
that's why there was nobody outside.
Yep.
Which
A scary.
is strange that there was someone waiting for
Yeah.
her when school was actually
In session.
in session. So like I said, I
Wait.
felt like someone was weird with mom.
True. Oh my gosh. Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm saying.
Dude, okay, so what if, because, yeah, school's in session, meaning the reason for a guy to be there to either kidnap a kid or
pick up a kid for,
pick up a kid or anything, they would do it around the school, either drop off or pickup times. This guy was like, almost seemed like he meant to be there. What if it was like the mom's boyfriend? The mom didn't see him. She zoomed off because they got in a fight, and it was the mom's boyfriend coming for like some revenge or something.
It could have been that.
You know what I mean? Like there was no, like if realistically, if there's going to be a kidnapper, you're going to do it when like school's ending. Kids are all scattering different spots. You could easily
Yeah.
snatch a kid, you know?
No, this was very specific. It
This
seemed.
was. That is actually really creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Man covered in blood tried to break into gas station I worked at 1 hour before I showed up to open the store. Okay.
Could have been Beats, but you know.
Okay. I used to work at a small neighborhood gas station. I was working an opening shift at 6 a.m. with my best friend / coworker. I was doing our normal opening stuff, and as the sun came up, I went to get some ice from the back. For reference, the gas station building used to have a drive-through, so we have that kind of window in the back. I glanced at the back window and realized that there was a literal bloody handprint on the back window. I looked closer and there were smudges of blood around the window handle that looked like someone was definitely attempting to slide it open. We were really freaked out, so we went to look around other potential entrances around the building. I looked at the window in the front and noticed dried blood on the hole where we take money from the gas from outside, like someone was trying to stick their hand in and get something inside. I keep looking around, and there was also dried blood on the front door handles, plus some splatters on the glass like someone was pounding on the glass. My friend and I were both freaking out at this point. So luckily, I had access to the security cameras. I checked them for any motion detected during the night. At 5 a.m., there was a motion captured, and we watched as a man with his arms covered in blood walked around the store trying to get in. The freakiest thing was usually the store is open at 5 a.m., but it happened to be a Sunday, so we opened at 6 a.m. We really dodged a bullet there. There were police lights in the distance on the cameras, so we called the sheriff. He showed up pretty quick, watched the security footage, and confirmed that it was the guy they picked up a bit after 5:30 a.m. Craziest thing that happened to me in my 3.5 years of working at gas stations. Bloody gas station man, let's not meet.
So he was someone they were looking for,
Yeah.
is what I assume?
Yeah.
Didn't really get any clarification on what actually happened, but yeah.
Yeah. Somebody said top comment was, definitely a crazy thing to encounter, that's for sure. Did the sheriff say anything further about the guy they picked up? Did they arrest him for something? Or was the blood his? Did he need help? And OP replied, yeah, so it turns out he had attempted suicide and was looking for help. The sheriff picked him up and took him to the hospital, and he lived. He was on something, apparently. Pretty sad.
That's what I was about to say is, what if it was someone that was actually in need and they're trying to hide from someone going after him? You
And
just don't know.
But, like, what do you think if, like, literally there's cop lights, like, in the background? That looks like someone's on the run or something. And yeah, seeing a bloody handprint slapped on the window of the gas station definitely doesn't make your brain go to the best case scenario. Yeah, that's crazy. And this one kind of just is going under the radar. It was 2 months ago. So there's only 250 upvotes. So yeah, it's kind of under the radar compared to other stories. But yeah, that would be crazy. I mean, I work in a safe environment, I guess. But if anyone, I actually always get, like, paranoid that, like, someone will be, like, knocking at the front door when my bosses aren't home and something's happening and I'm going to have to, like, deal with it or something.
Well, I had 2 things happen at the golf course, if you don't remember me talking about it.
No?
I showed up to open one day, and I was still a high schooler at this point, and someone broke into the glass windows. Like, all the windows were shattered. And they took some clubs and the money. Or they looked for money. There was no money. But they tried to obviously take the tills. Luckily, there was someone else coming in, like, right after me, but I was always early. So we called the cops. They came in and looked at it all, and yeah, it was crazy.
Oh my
Another
God.
time it was in the middle of the day, but there was some crazy guy running around on a shotgun in in a farmer's field.
Oh my God.
And we had to, like, go cart out and tell people to
get out of the golf course?
get off the golf course in case he came. So no,
Imagine that type of emergency evacuation. Did they use, like, the tornado sirens to get people in? No,
we
that
used
would
the
have
intercom for the top, and then we had a couple people take carts down because not everyone can hear.
the
down on
tornado
back
sirens, though.
Well,
That
we don't
might-
have tornado
that-
sirens though for the golf course.
Yes, huh?
We had the intercom mic.
No, the tornado sirens to get people out. You know, when it's about to storm, you can't have lightning within a certain amount of feet at a golf course.
Yeah.
So they turn the sirens on to, like, get people in. But I was going to say maybe they didn't because it would alert the shotgun guy. And
Well, we
maybe
were
he
notified
would-
because the cops called us. They were obviously
couldn't
looking
find
for
him?
him.
Yeah.
Well, they were on a chase, so they were calling people in the area and businesses.
Oh, wow.
So there was, like, the golf course, and there was probably some other areas around.
Imagine being in the middle of, like, playing and you're about to, like, win a bet with your buddies and all of a sudden, hey, there's a guy with a shotgun out here, come inside.
The other time was I was driving around and I saw people moving in the bushes, and there was just these kids wearing ghillie suits. They were just playing airsoft, but I don't think they knew that.
At the golf course?
Yeah. But
Oh
they were
my
just
God.
kids. It's not like they were threatening people.
No,
They were
but
literally just trying to play against each other, but it's a public course.
they
and
could
people,
get hit by golf clubs or golf balls or anything.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. I never heard of these stories before.
Nope.
I must have been too young. You're like coming home from work and you're just like, this happened. And
Yeah. No, a lot of crazy stuff happened at the golf course.
that's crazy. I actually wonder how many.
Or at the
other
theater, too,
crazy-
actually, too. It was the Safari Theater, not the one I worked at, but the one that Robert was general manager for. And we were going to play a movie, but we had to wait for him to finish up stuff. And this guy comes out of Theater 1 and is done with the movie. And then we're sitting there just chatting, and he's like trying to open the door. It's locked, and he's banging like really aggressively. And I'm like, well, I'm not working, so I let Robert take care of it. Guy comes back in storming all mad. He's like, I forgot my stuff, like his wallet and everything, but goes into a different theater. And then like we're like, I don't know what's going on. You know, I don't really care.
Mm-hmm.
Robert's like trying to finish up. I wasn't on shift. And then what happened was this other couple comes out and they're like, there's someone smoking a cigarette in the theater with us. And then we asked him to stop, and then he proceeded to go behind the theater because there's an actual exit behind. And they heard some loud noises, so we came in and looked. He tried to crawl up into the ceiling tile and behind the theater screen itself. And he got up, but obviously took a step right where the tiles were and just fell right through. And then he just left. But we called the cops, and they were looking for him.
What the heck?
Yeah.
See, movie theaters already scare me. I always look over my shoulder, like wondering if someone's going to come in or something.
Try closing every night when it's dark and the projector booth's all dark and spooky. And
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to close anywhere alone. I'm too much like paranoid that someone would come or something anywhere. So
Oh.
I couldn't even imagine being in like a theater where it's big, open, like random strangers. Some people try to like stay the night in a movie theater, so you have to like look. But
oh yeah, we always had to check every theater.
I couldn't.
Homeless people.
Yeah, that too. You know, maybe people want to stay. I couldn't.
Nope.
And especially alone, I would make people come with me. Honestly, I'd be like, "Hey, coworker, let's look together," because there's no way I'm doing this alone.
Well, as the manager, I kicked everyone else out. That was
You kinda
double
had
booking,
to.
So I was just there by myself with
No
whatever
way.
last guests were leaving. So
No way. Not for me. Okay, guys, thanks so much for watching again this episode. Spicy Scoop, episode 2.
I think she spiked her wine. Is what she's trying to say.
Had a little too much. Yeah, it was fun having my brother here. You're gonna have to do it again. Did you have fun?
Hello. Yes. Good time.
And then all my siblings in the audience right here, just their comments. Yeah. And there's Xtifer. Okay, so well, last time when I was closing, Kale was talking about like traveling to the future. So this goes anywhere. This is the Spicy Scoop. We go anywhere. We talk about anything. Things will happen. All right. Let's give it one last cheers to the moment. And thank you so much for watching. That's a wrap, guys. Thank you. Hey guys, I just wanted to say thank you so much for listening and watching. I really appreciate your guys' feedback. So thank you.